All right, everyone, we're going to try this one more time. Let's see if we stay live. Okay, it's looking good. All right. So, hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's Friday. This is the Cannabis Events Talkshow hosted by eventhi. I am your host, Adelia Carrillo. I am the CMO of eventhi, and this is our new web show. The Cannabis Events Talkshow covers all about cannabis events, experiences, tourism. We keep you updated on the hottest topics from current trends, news, interviews with event guests or those in the tourism sector, to even marketing tips and much more. So I'm going to kind of go over what the framework is for the show. We're also going to, and then we're going to bring our very special co-hosts today to join us in the conversation. So first things first, I like to share with our audience industry updates. Now, these industry updates are specifically geared towards state by state kind of regulations or current standards when it comes to in-person events or gatherings. This is to just keep you all updated because, with the current landscape, we are continuing to see changes as things start to get more restrictive, and then we feel sometime then around the spring, things will start to open up more. So we just like to keep you all updated with that. But before I dive in, I just want to make sure we are live everywhere. We do stream live on Twitter. We also stream live on Facebook. And we also stream live on LinkedIn. So please comment in the chat bar. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And I'm just going to take a quick moment, make sure all the links are live and you all can hear me. Okay, we are good on Facebook. We are good on Twitter. And let's see how we're looking on LinkedIn. We are there. Perfect. Well, let's get this show going then. Okay, so in the latest updates, to enter, those that are going to be traveling to Hawaii, to enter Hawaii, travelers soon will have to show that they have had a booster shot to be considered fully vaccinated in order to bypass the state's 5-day quarantine. In Minnesota, Minneapolis, and St. Paul, they are going to start requiring proof of vaccination or a COVID-19 test result taken within 3 days to enter bars and restaurants, which begin as of yesterday. And as of January 15th, proof of vaccination must be shown in Washington, D.C. for access to indoor events, restaurants, gyms, and other indoor settings. Now, Boston and Chicago also now require proof of vaccination for indoor events, indoor dining, gyms, and entertainment facilities. New Orleans has reinstated its indoor mask mandate. Meanwhile, New Mexico has actually extended its indoor mask mandate until February 4th. Face covering requirements were also extended in California and reinstated in Portland, Maine, Washington, D.C., and Washington, D.C. Now, in New York, all indoor public spaces that do not have a vaccine mandate must now require people to wear face masks. So that includes indoor venues, indoor events, restaurants, all those facilities or businesses that are not requiring a vaccine mandate. And then all travelers to Puerto Rico must provide a negative COVID-19 test. So we will continue to do this each week as things start to change, keep you updated as states start to reopen or potentially get more restrictive. We do have quite a few people tuning in from all over today. We got Lake Superior State University in Michigan. Welcome. We've got, we got all the way from Brazil. Welcome, Bashir. Thank you all for tuning in. Hi, Leah. We see those comments coming through, and thank you all for joining us so far. And anybody else tuning in, feel free to let us know where you're streaming from or join the conversation. Now, let's get to the good part. So I am so excited and honored to introduce you to this week's co-hosts. I get the pleasure of having two amazing individuals who I admire and respect in this space joining us today and sharing their insight and thoughts into some of the news articles that we cover today. We have Monique Jackson Fitzgerald. She is an attorney and the co-founder of both Inndica.com, an online cannabis travel platform, and Lazy Turtle Group, LLC, a creative agency with a vision to modernize and destigmatize the public perception of plant medicine and their use as part of an active lifestyle. Inndica.com was actually launched in 2018. And Rick Fitzgerald is a Blue Ridge born artist and the co-founder of Lazy Turtle Group and Inndica as well. Now, Rick has over 25 years of experience in brand identity, packaging, and digital design. He has launched and managed creative departments for global corporations, including Shorewood Packaging, International Paper, and MPS. So let's welcome them to the web show. Welcome. Hello.
Wow.
Hey, happy Friday.
Thank you, Adelia. That was
It's
awesome.
so great to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you all here. Have you both here.
Thank you.
And let's dive in. We like to kick it off with you sharing to our audience a little bit more about who you are and your insights. So, Monique, why don't you kick it off and share a little bit about your backstory and how you got into the industry? And then Rick, if you could do the same after.
For sure.
Absolutely. So for Rick and I, we moved to California about 12 years ago. And that's when we discovered cannabis for the first time. Well, for me, for the first time. For him, it was
Me, a long time.
I was a little bit of a goody two shoes. So
it happened the same thing with my partner too. I consumed earlier and he was like, "Oh no, what? You did that in high school? What?"
Right. So I've had, my only relationship has been as an adult with cannabis and being able to experience it from the wellness and the medical side of things, and found it really helpful personally. And then when California started to legalize after Colorado, we were like, this is like a really unique opportunity for us to change the trajectory that we're on as our, professionally and personally in our lives, and like really find out what was going to move us and drive us and get us excited about things again. And so we dove into it and came up with, brainstormed some ideas, and, it's been a long process, but eventually the things that rose to the surface were, Lazy Turtle Group and Inndica. And industry wise, I got my start as a consultant doing licensing and regulation early on, and then pretty quickly switched gears so that we could develop our dream and our platform.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that covers a lot of it. Yeah, I've been a fan of the plant for a long time. Growing up in the basically the Blue Ridge Mountains, base of the Blue Ridge Mountains, it was just it was part of life back then. It was interesting. It's kind of been crazy that, in the beginning when I was in high school, I was exploring the plant, and then through my corporate career, I had to step away from it for, drug testing and all that kind of stuff that happened. And then when we came back out to California, I was reintroduced to the plant and just learned, so much amazingness about the history of it, from legacy on up. And it's just been an amazing journey. And my time in the creative realm just kind of pushed me towards trying to help brands that it's a startup, a lot of startups in this. It's all startup in this space. So, I just took my design knowledge of my corporate career and moved it into, our own business in Lazy Turtle Group, and just helping folks kind of develop their story and their brands and their looks from there. So that's like a quick backstory on me.
Yeah, no, that's great. You both provide such great insight. And I think, that's what helps the different perspectives, the different experiences in general, helps evolve what you're creating for your brands and your customers at Lazy Turtle, but even with Inndica, and let's dive more into that. What exactly is Inndica? What is Inndica?
So it's a curated platform. We list cannabis friendly hotels, places to stay, gather, play, and explore, or what our totems are. And so we've envisioned it really as a place for you to come and get advice on the best places to go, the destinations, things that are happening, focusing a lot on compliance and making sure that we're in legal states only, and that people are going to have not just a great experience, but a safe experience. And then we also really wanted to build kind of something for the community so that we could all come together and start sharing our mutual experiences with one another and introducing people to new things, right? So we wanted to offer a place for the traveler to share more than just a couple of sentences of a review. So we have what's known as Inndica Explorers, and we ask you to, share your story, and we put it in our travel log, and then it attaches itself to the property or the event. And so that way other travelers can then come and find out about it and find out what, like my perspective is going to be different than a millennial's perspective of a stay in the same place, right? So it's really about building up this knowledge base and building a safe traveler experience.
Completely. And it started in Joshua Tree in the desert for my birthday. Monique took me out for an epic birthday almost week out there, and we just sat back and enjoyed the stars, enjoyed Joshua Tree for all it's worth, and just started thinking about what we wanted to do. And we realized that we were in an amazing place. We were staying in a very cool Airbnb out in the middle of the desert. We had plenty of our plant medicine, our cannabis and everything with us to really put us in the right mindset. And we just thought about our lives and thought about what we wanted to do. And we realized what we were doing right there was what we wanted to do, showing folks how they can incorporate cannabis into a travel lifestyle. And it's just been, from there, it's just grown, and we've just had a blast, exploring new places out there that are offering cannabis friendly lodging, and events, tours, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the conceptual start of Inndica.
Yeah. No, I love that. And the thing too is, like, I'm sure you all, because you get to meet these creatives that are creating these locations, or even the ones that are open to it, and opening their doors to welcoming the plant. It's probably just really exciting and interesting to see all the different collective minds that you get to meet behind this, right?
Yeah, it absolutely is. And it's what keeps it exciting and fresh, right? Because it's truly an area that we can innovate in, and we can, and anybody who participates in this side of the business can really create with with some boundaries, but it's really about expressing yourself and creating what drives you and what you think other people what will appeal to them. So I think it's just, like, there's wide open opportunities for this section of travel.
And it's really showing. I mean, a lot of these old kind of cool kitschy, motels, roadside motels, just have an opportunity to reinvigorate their entire, business model and bring in a new segment of, a new market segment, some new travelers. And so it's really, it's bringing some places back to life too, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think, as we continue to move forward from what the current landscape is, I'm hopeful that it'll lead to these more opportunities of people realizing, they get more educated about the plant, so maybe it's not as intimidating, but they see it also as a way that can help their business thrive.
Completely.
Now, with again, kind of going back into building Inndica, and you get to see these unique hotels, campsites, and resorts. What is, for each of you, what is one that resonates, that one location, or maybe that one like campsite that just, I don't want to say is your favorite, because I'm sure you don't want to say that.
So many favorites, though.
Right.
There's so many favorites, actually.
Exactly. What is one that stands out to both of you?
Honestly, I have to say I love the team and the team behind it, and the place is Mine and Farm up north in the Russian River area. They've really elevated the concept of a cannabis-friendly hotel, bed and breakfast area. It's beautiful. It's very well curated. They have a workshop on site, so they create a lot of the furnishings and decor and things like that in the place. And they really have an eye towards sustainability, an eye towards bringing in like the local environment as a destination, and really highlighting the features of it. So I think for me, it's Mine and Farm right now. They just really have done a beautiful job.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with Mine and Farm. There's so many of them.
Can't use my answer.
I know.
Pick your own.
All right, I'm going to use Treehouse.
Treehouse Joint.
Yeah, Treehouse Joint. They're an amazing. I mean, it's just a really unique property with tree houses that you go stay in, and they're just beautifully done in the forest. It's just it's completely magical. I mean, if you want to transform into
Yeah.
a totally different arena. Check out Treehouse.
Yeah, Treehouse Joint. That's in Washington. That's really cool. That one is really cool.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them out here in the desert. We're out in Palm Springs area, so there's a lot
Yeah.
out in the Coachella Valley out here. So man,
Yeah.
there's so many good places. There really are.
Yeah.
And in Coachella Valley like Coachella Valley, Desert Hot Springs, that whole realm of things. I mean, most of the time you guys have beautiful weather all year round.
Yeah.
So it's a great place to go on vacation or check these places out, right?
Completely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say for us, we've really seen that Coachella Valley is developing as like the welcoming cannabis tourism center for this part of California. It's they're just very open-minded. They have really embraced it as part of the tourism and travel industry here, both Palm Springs, Desert Hot Springs, all of them. So I think it's just, I mean, the opportunities out here really are endless, and there's a lot of cute little spa resorts out in DHS that are available. So now's the time to buy a hotel if you want one.
Yeah, and one of the first properties that we listed is in DHS.
Yeah, Desert Hot Springs Inn, and it was one of the first in the state to be openly cannabis friendly.
Yeah,
and we've worked with them from the start, and they've always just been really cool.
Yeah.
Wow,
completely.
That's great. So now, as a tourism focused business, I think in general we all know what it's been like for the past 2 years. But how have you utilized, the 2 challenging years to enhance your business?
It's been a good time for us, actually.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we took about the first year to really reevaluate the platform, look at all of our milestones, see what we had hit, what we had missed, all of that. And then we revamped everything. We completely redesigned the platform. We changed things around. We added features to it and relaunched it in June as to coincide with travel relaunching here in California. And then as part of that, we did a co-marketing and campaign with Kinslips, a California brand, to like really showcase and highlight special spots in California as we were all kind of staying a little bit localish. So we've just really taken it as a time to grow personally and professionally.
And just really explore and thinking about what makes the most sense for folks that want to go out there and experience cannabis or just incorporate it into their travel lifestyle. It doesn't have to be specifically their destination to go have cannabis, but just to have that incorporated into the travel plan has been, it's just been kind of wild to watch us, figure things out and move and groove with the whole, everything that's been going on. So yeah, we sat back and really just thought about it and just fine-tuned everything and we continue to evolve.
I think that's the one thing which was good is for those that are maybe not in the cannabis industry watching, it's like dog years when you're in this industry.
Totally.
You're running sprints every day, it feels like. And so I think that's what, many businesses, I think, hope, if they were able to took that time to really kind of look at everything and kind of slow down. And I think that's a great way. I know that I resonate with that because that's exactly what we were able to do. I mean, the first year was a little like, what are we going to do?
It was scary. It was rough, but
oddly enough, in that time frame, Cannabis Travel started showing its face. And
it really did. It's gotten a lot of attention.
It's a trip. I mean, to have a small boutique hotel that you can go to with maybe 4 to 6 rooms, you can stay pretty isolated and you can stay pretty safe in those environments, as opposed to, I'm not saying a large hotel is any more dangerous, but it is potentially, can run into more people there. So a lot of these boutique areas have been attracting folks during this crazy COVID phase.
And not to mention, cannabis is essential, and we recognize that it did help a lot of us get through the stressors that we were all experiencing during this time, right? So let's just keep using it and have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
But the other thing was we were able to use our creative agency to stay alive during that period, and to really help some other brands develop their stories and to redo, do some stuff for ourselves as well.
Yeah.
Huge. What kind of brands, do you focus on? Is it just within the cannabis space, or is it a specific niche in cannabis? Share a little bit about Lazy Turtle and how you help brands.
It's probably honestly about 80% cannabis and hemp. Have a lot of CBD and cannabis THC clients, but we still service. We're closely tied to the music industry and the home entertainment industry, fashion. We still have a number of clients in those spaces as well. So it's a nice balance. But personally, we love this space because it is startup, and you can help folks that have a true passion for what they're doing from the jump and really get them off on the right foot, help them, establish themselves in a good way. So I'd say, cannabis is the majority of our clients, but we still have a couple of other folks we work with. But it's a blast. All of it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you can share, do you have any special like insights or on what you have in store for 2022?
I think what we're going to be seeing, we're planning a lot of new trip itineraries, sharing some travel tips with folks, and also really starting to focus on different destinations and really sharing a lot more about international destinations, which I think we've kind of not given a lot of attention to. For instance, there's a upcoming retreat in Jamaica coming up in, when is that? June, with the great Peachy Windbush Polk is hosting it. And it's going to be at one of the premier resorts in Jamaica that's coming online as cannabis friendly very soon. And then we're also working with another friend who is working with some resorts over there. And they're rolling out some, Jamaica is just going for it. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome.
It'll be the model for a lot of other places, I think. Yeah.
We'll have to keep our eye on that then for sure.
Yeah.
Now, before we go in the articles, we actually do have a question from the audience. So I'm going to bring the comment up on the screen. Bashir says, what has been your greatest challenge?
Oof. So we are self-funded, right? So I think our greatest challenge has just been dealing with those limitations that are placed on you. But at the same time, it's also been our greatest opportunity because it's allowed us to test and really reach the limits of our creativity and to still be able to offer a robust platform and the things that we're doing on this budget.
Yeah, and it really helps that we have the skill sets that can do this with Monique, with her, her attorney side and all the understanding of regulations, and having worked in that realm for a number of years, really gives good insight to what we can and can't do. And then on the creative side, just being able to give this a look, a good feel, has just been a nice combination. But a lot of challenges in the space, even on the, every step of the way, and keeping up with the properties and making sure that they are all vetted and, with as within regulations as they can be. Yeah.
That's important. Good. Great. Thank you.
Great question. Thank you.
So, okay, now how this works. So I'm going to be highlighting some of the articles that we have that we're going to be covering this week. And Monique and Rick are going to share some of their perspectives throughout or at the end of, just conversation points with what we got to share this week. So the first article, it is called City Warning: Private Marijuana Lounges Must Close or Face Enforcement. So on January 13th, the owner, Dwayne Benjamin of Tetra 9, went to work expecting to operate Tetra 9, which is a private cannabis club in the city of Denver. However, the Denver Department of Excise and Licenses sent out a memo to cannabis business owners and stakeholders later that day, warning that any business allowing cannabis consumption without a license to do so could be subject to enforcement action. Now, a little bit more about the memo. It stated that, the law, which created a new marijuana hospitality program license for Denver, also banned unlicensed consumption venues. And a few things to note is that Denver opted into these rules nearly 9 months ago, but this is the first warning that this club has actually gotten. Benjamin, though, did receive a license from the state marijuana enforcement division for marijuana hospitality in December. However, and Monique, you might be able to share more insight into this part too, or just kind of, this whole process and things. So he has the license, but he's still awaiting a public hearing for city approval. And so it sounds like that, we kind of get these bottlenecks where things start to say, yes, you're paying, all these fees, but then you still have all of these components. That's a common thing that we're seeing in this industry, huh?
Yeah, it really is. And it's, it really is reminiscent of when we got licensure here in California, when the existing operations had to stop, and then there's this gap until the approved operations can start up. And so, it's just unfortunate, the timing really I mean, what are they thinking down there in Denver? Because hospitality has been hardest hit with this pandemic, and this is an opportunity for businesses to stay alive and to thrive. And instead, they're making it even harder on them. So it's unfortunate. The timing's unfortunate.
Yeah. No, and then two, it says, so this is a marijuana lounge, which is, again, they have monthly and short-term memberships. They've actually been operating as a private club since 2018. So they've been okay for a while, A couple other things to notate. There's actually 3 active applications. Tetra 9 is just one of them that applied for this marijuana license. And it does state, once the license is processed, there is still a 30 to 45 day period for a public hearing before they can officially move forward. So, this was December. So he's expecting not to be fully licensed or open until April 20th.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's a long ride.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a long ride. Social consumption, regulations have just kind of been almost left for a while and just addressed late. And it's just such a vital part of this whole movement is to get the social consumption in line. So it's real shame. I feel bad for those folks. I hope it can get, fixed quicker than April, but it sounds like it's going to be a little while.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
No, go ahead.
So no, I was just going to say, we've seen this all over, even in Vegas, there's not allowed to consume anywhere. Nobody knows where to consume.
Yeah.
And we can, you can go ahead and buy it anywhere, but just, we don't know where we're going to enjoy it, really.
Exactly. Yeah. Monique was on working group years ago for the LA California social consumption regulations, and they did some really good work, but I don't know. I don't think a lot of that was adopted into the final regs, unfortunately.
No, because they decided not to address it until later.
Yeah, which is a shame. Good stuff in there, though.
So, yeah. And so I would say, from my perspective, having previously worked in local government law and whatnot, I feel like all of these localities this is a miss, right? Because they're restricting hospitality businesses, but they're also overly restricting something that's already been through licensure, it's already been through seed to sale, tracking, all of this, and then it's purchased by a responsible adult, and then you're going to add another layer of restriction on them and tell them, by the way, enjoy your cannabis, but not anywhere.
Right.
Yep.
It's
not anywhere. Yeah.
And really, the destinations and localities that come up with more reasonable regulations on hospitality and social consumption are going to be the winners at the end of the day, because cannabis tourism is real and it's growing. And so if a place can say, come one, come all, you're welcome here, with enjoy it responsibly as adults, that's going to be the destination that the tourists that they go for. Like
Coachella's doing out here, like Riverside County. They're just really opening up for cannabis, and it's going to be a serious tourism hub out here. Yeah. For sure.
Well, I think we were in a conversation, when we were the other day with you both, and I think was mentioned that a dispensary was delivering at that festival, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there was a huge music festival, and just a regular hotel allowed a dispensary had pop-up ordering and delivery. So it's they are welcoming you to come and enjoy yourself, and not telling you how to enjoy yourself, right? Not saying, oh, go ahead and have a drink, but you can't have anything else. Yeah. It's like, let's try to promote some other alternatives to just having a drunk fest all the time.
Exactly. Agreed. Okay. So next article, we kind of touched in on this, I believe, on our 2 episodes ago, but there's a little bit more details now. So Grover Beach is planning to open cannabis smoking lounges. Now, the Grover Beach City Council took the first step on Monday of last week towards revamping the city's marijuana scene through the inclusion of cannabis lounges. So they're taking inspiration from Los Angeles, and San Francisco, and they will be the first city in San Luis Obispo County with marijuana lounges where patrons can consume. So they can smoke, they can vape, they can eat edibles infused with THC, if the state adopts pending new laws. So again, there's another if. They will also serve non-alcoholic drinks and munchies, though, so that's good. And one final thing is the city would allow indoor and outdoor locations. Again, though, the locations cannot be visible from public view. And they have a 9 p.m. curfew. So that's interesting.
That is interesting.
That was my curfew in 6th grade.
Right?
That was like the city curfew for minors is 9 p.m.
Wow. Scary times.
Right?
Scary
I mean,
times.
they think if we get home any later, we're going to cause a ruckus or something.
Right. Well, I hope that goes through smoothly because it's such a beautiful area up there. And, actually we have a client up there that's got a really cool grow that could benefit from something like that as well. So I really hope that goes through. The lounges need to expand. There's tons of them out here in the desert, but they need to be setting up other places too.
Yeah, I love that they're going to allow indoor or outdoor locations because one of the problems with the way the lounges are set up most places is that it is all indoor. And even though they have adequate ventilation and all of that, it's still, it can turn into, if you're sensitive at all to smoke or any irritants, it can turn into a really like an uncomfortable environment. So I love that they're going to do some outdoor stuff.
Yeah, completely.
I mean, it changed the whole experience that these
It really does.
provide too,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
really now,
So go Grover Beach.
Go
Yay.
Grover Beach.
Yeah, and so it looks like what is next for that is the measure just requires a final vote meeting in March. So in March, we'll keep an eye out on that. They are following some public input, of course.
Yeah, it's just good to see that coming around some more. Yeah.
Now, this one is Cromwell bans use of cannabis on public land. So while no one from the public attended last week's council hearing on banning the use of cannabis on town property, municipal leaders say they believe the community supports the measure. Now, the ordinance was approved unanimously on Wednesday night, and it includes a ban of tobacco use on public land. The town manager, Anthony Salvatore, carved out an exception for use on public right of ways on improved or paved roads. So I'm not too sure what they meant by that. But it also goes into stating that Connecticut became the 19th state in the nation to legalize recreational use of marijuana last June. But several municipalities, they have imposed temporary or permanent bans on cannabis businesses. So it looks like they still have a lot to figure out over there.
Yeah.
I
don't like that. I'm not coming to Cromwell.
No.
and that's because actually though, all joking aside, most places it is prohibited on public spaces and public lands. Yeah. So it's not that bad. I think they're skirting the line here when they get to the the byways and right of ways. So and you can't smoke and drive anyway, so you're not going to be smoking in the car if you're responsible adults. Exactly. And there was something they did mention though that they were trying to restrict it in residential areas. You can't.
Yeah. Again, where are they, like all these things again? Where are they going to consume? The state overall, people want it there. Yeah.
Well, they might. I mean, money talks, unfortunately, sometimes. So they might start seeing revenue from surrounding areas and cities, and could change their mind.
They were mentioning that a little bit too, like how they could really benefit from the tax use. I think that conversation they stated was about, even a farmer's market. So I don't know where they really stood on that. If that was just an example that they were like, this could be a way, to have it, not consume it, but which would be cool. I think again, having that whole, it doesn't have to be just focused around a cannabis farmer's market, but having some vendors that are around that to educate the community.
Yeah, to represent.
Yeah,
I do like their equal application of the law, though, that they are also restricting tobacco use. So
so at least there's at
least there's no winners in this situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If we lose, we all lose. If one loses, we all lose.
It wasn't funded by a tobacco industry.
Right.
So take that.
Now, next article is actually, this one I'm excited about. It's so I hope I am pronouncing the name correctly. It is Avera Tech. They're revolutionizing tourism in the Caribbean through technology. So they are a U.S. Virgin Islands-based tech company, Avera Tech. They are on a mission to leverage technology in the Caribbean tourism industry. And in the last two, kind of repeated myself with that title and that first sentence. In less than 2 years, though, this millennial-led startup, they actually developed a suite of mobile apps that are enhancing the tourist experience, while also simultaneously mitigating the spread of COVID-19 virus amidst the ongoing global pandemic. So their first initiative, they emerged as a direct response to the growth of the cannabis industry. And what the Avera Cannabis Suite was created to do was facilitate the sale of cannabis and cannabis products to Virgin Islanders and visitors over 21 years old. So through the app, individuals wishing to avail of the island's cannabis offerings can apply for a legal registration card, which is a day pass. And you actually would have access to all the services regarding with the app, including cultivators, dispensaries, doctors, transportation, and securities. And you can even pay through the app. So it's seamless. Everything is right then and there. That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is really exciting.
Yeah,
I dig that.
This is a cool suite. This is really unique and interesting, and I dig the day pass idea.
Yeah.
I think a lot of folks could really adopt that and do some interesting things. And it's just such a young, passionate, vibrant group that's running this show. So I think we're going to see some amazing stuff from this team.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really cool idea. And I love that it's going to give travelers a way to have to verify the legality of what they're doing in the country, so that they're not, buying it off the cab driver who, picked them up at the airport. Exactly. And they know what they're getting, right? They'll know that it's clean cannabis. So yeah, really innovative. And it just shows, we're moving in this digital world and this digital age, and the more tools that we have available, the better things and the better the experiences are going to be.
Dig it.
I agree. So on top of what they're doing for the cannabis sector, they've also built out two other components, two other business apps. One is more contactless business services. And then they're also doing a contact tracing app. So with their technology, they are trying to revive the Caribbean tourism industry. And this is just the beginning. They have a lot of plans to expand throughout the region, starting with Jamaica in 2022.
Right on.
Oh, way to go.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, excited about that.
Come back to Jamaica.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, this is stuff
that Friday.
I'm going to have that song in my head later.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Again, these are those things where I'm like, I can't wait to start traveling out to those areas, especially
likewise.
Areas. They're really innovating, and we can learn a lot from that as a city states,
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we're getting to our thank you moments, and I just want to thank you both. It's, for those, that are tuning in and those that rewatch this, I've known Monique and Rick for a while now. Like, this was back in, I think when I had, back in the day. Yeah. Back in the day before Event High.
Good ways.
In the cannabis space. And so it's just exciting to see us all continue to move forward, and to see what you guys have done and your community continue to grow. And I know, 2022 is just going to really, take it to that next level for you both. So with that, how can people contact you? Any final announcements?
First, I want to thank you also for having us on, because we love you, and we're just excited to be here. And we're excited that we are all still together in this industry and helping it grow and evolve. So amazing job that your team is doing all the time. So thank you.
Yeah, completely.
And so they can find us at Inndica.com. That's Inndica with 2 N's, INNDICA.com. And get on there, check out the travel log. If you have traveled anywhere, please fill out, submit your Inndica Explorer stories, and we'll share your adventure with everyone else. So
yeah. And on Instagram,
come say hi.
Instagram, we're Inndica 420. Instagram and Facebook, and then LinkedIn Inndica.
Yep.
Well, Jackson wanted to just state thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Jackson. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. And with that, so I just have some final announcements. Again, thank you, Monique and Rick.
Thank you.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Now, before we end the segment, I just have a few final announcements. So next week, our special guest and co-host is Ishel, founder of Mujeres Valley. She has some exciting things to share with what they're working on over there in development. And they have a really great, amazing event coming up as well. And then the highlight event of the week. This week, we're going to be highlighting Bay Area ASA's 20th anniversary celebration for 2022. They have, they've been around for 20 years now. And this is Americans for Safe Access and their Bay Area ASA chapter. They invite everyone to tune in with them. It is going to be an online event. They have some DJs, comedians, raffle prizes, and they're going to do a montage of just the history through ASA for the past 20 years. Now, they are donating the tickets. 1% of proceeds will actually go to Sweet Leaf Collective, OPE EVAC, and Jazz Cabbage. So the movement for safe and affordable access to cannabis as medicine is not over. And again, the patients are still in need. To learn more about that event, visit eventhi.io. And I can only plant the seed right now about what's coming up, but Event High has some really cool announcements we will be sharing in February. So some things have been long overdue and we're very excited. So stay tuned. Join us next Friday. And with that being said, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay high.